Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome all of you for the online satsang of the SSSIO Center of Arcadia. And we are doing the study circle for people who have joined recently on Gita Vahini, the one which Swami, the Sai Krishna, has written about the Bhagavad Gita, which was the message given by Lord Krishna thousands of years ago through Arjuna to all of us. So last week we briefly talked about the introduction about Gita. It is always good to recapitulate the main things which we discussed. How this Gita is a eternal and universal message. And there are many Gitas, as we talked about, Vasishta Gita, Rama Gita, and Ashtavakra Gita, Avadhuta Gita. So many Gitas, but of all them, this is the only one called Bhagavad Gita. The Lord Narayana, Lord Vishnu himself has given. And the sage is Vyasa, and the one who took the thing is Arjuna. Through Arjuna, this instruction was given. And also we talked about how this is the essence of all the Upanishads. Most of us cannot read the Vedas, Upanishads, and also the Brahma Sutras, because as we said, there are three important texts in Prasthanatrayam. One is Upanishads, which is the great classic scriptural text, which are the revelations given to the sages when they are contemplation in the forests and caves. And these Upanishads are very tough nuts to crack, so somebody has to really dive deep into that. So this is for Shravanam. The next stage comes the Brahma Sutras, which were given by sage Badarayana. So this was the one which is for manana, contemplation, which we finished during the Sutra Vahini. Not exhaustively, but we covered most of the important aspects of Sutra Vahini. Now we are doing the Gita Vahini, which is Nididhyasana, that means for practice. One is Shravana, Upanishads, Manana, the Brahma Sutras, and Nididhyasana is the Gita Vahini. And the unique thing, as we said, this is given by Lord himself, and this is collection of the beautifully gave all the Upanishads you can compare to like a cow. And who is the cowherd who is milking this cow? Lord Narayana. Lord Krishna himself is milking the cow. Why is he milking? This calf, Arjuna is the calf. To stimulate the cow to give the milk, you need a calf. So that is Arjuna. And once the milk comes, we are all enjoying that milk. That is the thing. And what is that milk? Advaitamrita Varshinim. This is the nectar of Advaita. The whole Gita is the Advaita Varshini. That's so Amrutam, it is like nectar. That means once we drink it, what will happen when you drink Amrita? You become immortal. So if you attain immortality, you have to drink this Gita. And the Swami said, your Gita is good, you will read Gita. That means your destiny is good, you will read the Gita. And like Ramakrishna, all the great masters, he said, the essence of Gita is Tyagi, Tyagi, Gita, 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 Gota, go on saying, it becomes Thagi. So it's renunciation. And second thing we covered last time is Lord Krishna said, hey, I gave this Gita to Aditya, Surya. She is eternal Surya. He taught Surya. And then he said that Surya taught to Manu, and Manu taught to Ikshvaku, and then it came to the humanity. This Arjuna was wondering, this man is only 87-year-old and he is talking about giving the thing to Surya and Manu. How can it be? So because we are all deluded, when God comes in human form, we think he has a beginning, and he says, I have been there before, I will be there forever. But I know everything in the past, who I am, but you don't know. There is the whole difference. Same thing, Swami says, I was Shidi Avatar, I was everything. So, but he knows all that, and we don't know in our limited mind and intellect. There is another important thing. Always don't confine avatar to that body, that name and form. He is beyond, he is eternal, no beginning, no end. He is birthless and deathless. That is what we need to constantly remember. Though he came in that beautiful form with a sweet name, that is just so that we can have divine romance, we can relate to him. But ultimately, the ultimate reality is beyond name and form. And the third thing we talked about last time is we all have vasanas, tendencies. So because in each house, in each place, each one has a tendency. Some people have very tamasic tendency. They are very lethargic, inertia, apathetic, and they like to have things like movies or gambling, drinking. That is tamasic thing. And there are next people who have that vasanas of rajasic vasanas. They are always restless. They want to do this, they want to do that. Too ambitious. Mind is always agitated. The body will be shaking. The speech goes on, talking, and mind will be going chatting. So that is because rajasic. They cannot be still. That is there. But ultimate thing is sattvic, serene, calm, unruffled. That is the one, he says, vasana. But the ultimate thing is completely you want to be free, as he says. Swami said, cycle of birth and death, you go beyond the three gunas. Nistraigunye tava Arjuna, he says, Traigunye Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyam Bhavarjuna. This is like a commandment, Lord Krishna says in the beginning itself. These Vedas, all these things you read is in the field of only these three gunas, the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. But Nistraigunyam Bhavarjuna, but you should go beyond the three gunas. That is the ultimate goal. Somebody was asking, somebody said chapter 14 is important, because that deals with these three gunas. That is called Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogam. What is tamas, what is rajas, and what is sattva, and how to go beyond. That is where, but let us make it clear. Every word of Lord Krishna is important. Nothing like one chapter is more important. Some people like the chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga. And Swami made like the chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, where they used to chant Bhakti Yoga in the every time in front of Swami in the major festivals for many years. And some people like this Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, some Gunatraya Vibhaga, some say summary is the whole thing is Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, chapter 18. So each one is important, but for us to get out of the cycle of birth and death, we need to get rid of these vasanas. Actually, I remember my father one time asked Swami, what do you want? Swami, I want to get rid of this. I don't want punarjanma. That means I don't want to be born again. Do you know what Swami said? If you do not have purva janma vasanas, then you won't have punarjanma. He didn't say you will have it. First, you need to exhaust all our previous life tendencies, vasanas. That is why all these important spiritual practices is. Another important thing we need to remember is Lord Krishna himself. Please read the chapter 18, slokas 68 and 69. The one who talks about this Gita, he says he's the dearest to him. He doesn't say the one who gives charity, the one who gives japa. The one who talks about these words of the Lord, he says of all the people on this earth, he is the guy who is dearest. And people, like all of us who are participating in this yajna, this is jnana yajna. So all of us, listeners, I am reading, everybody is, Krishna is, all of us are partaking in this called Jnana Yajna. There are many yajnas in Gita. It's 12 kinds of yajnas described. Dravya yajna, Bhuta yajna, Pitru yajna, Daiva yajna, many yajnas. But of all the things, the greatest is Jnana Yajna. Everything ends in Jnana Yajna. So this is what we are doing when we are studying the Gita, this whole thing. So it is so important when this highest Yajna you are doing, how we need to focus every word and look at that. So go ahead, Krishna. Just yeah, by the way, I have a hard copy, in which case in the hard copy, it's chapter 1, page 2. But on the PDF you have, I think it is on page 8 and starts with the really speaking. So if you don't have hard copy, look at the PDF, download or open it, and you can start with really speaking.
Really speaking, man has come into this karma kshetra, field of activity, only to engage himself in activity, not in order to earn the fruit of such activity. That is the teaching of the Gita, its fundamental lesson. The Gita is the quintessence of the meaning of all the Vedas, yajnas, and yagas, offerings for the glory of God. The outward directed activities are mentioned in the preliminary portions of the Vedas. Activities of the mind, like the upasanas, which are directed inward, are mentioned later. Jnana Yoga too is expounded to minds thus clarified and purified. Swami is talking about this karma kshetra, field of activity. The one thing always when we're talking about Gita, immediately what I think is about what Swami, the song that he wrote, that he sang, Sathya Dharma Shanti Prema. In that he says, Bhakti Toda Bhagavantuni Dalchu Nitya Karma Mulu Nirvartinchana. So he's very clear. Daily you go on doing the duties. So he's not, should not be attached to the results, even the fruit of such activity. We don't need to just go on doing the duty. And he gives the example of King Janaka, who is a king, and he's always full in action from start of the day to the end of the day, but still he's not attached to the fruits of actions. Swami gives the example like Janaka, anybody does, and they will realize God. They will get moksha. I'll leave it to here.
Yeah, so this thing here, you're talking about the Vedas. Swami talks about three things here. I don't know if anyone got it. So one is, in the beginning is activities, that means karma kanda. So this is what they talk about. All the people do the yajnas, yagas, and singing hymns. That is karma kanda. The beginning, that is what everybody is involved. Then he says, we do the next is upasana kanda, that is bhakti. And then finally, it ends in jnana yoga, which is the Upanishads. That is why karma, bhakti, jnana, it is everything. Even that's why Swami is beautifully incorporated in each SSSIO center or our organization. We have got service wing, where people go and do the selfless service wing. Then we have bhakti yoga, where we do sing the glories of God, do the bhajans, do the japa, do the meditation. And finally is the jnana yajna, which is the study of the scriptures, self-inquiry to know who we are. So these are the three important aspects which are there. But that is the difference. Here we are all in the field of action. Where were the Upanishads I said we were talking about? Where were they discussed? In a cave and a forest, where their contemplative life, these people are saints, sages, recluse. So, but this Gita was not given in a forest or in the caves. It was given in Kurukshetra, in the middle of war, in the battlefield. So because Lord knows that we are all going to face this battlefield. That is why it is called Kurukshetra. In Sanskrit, Kuru means action, field of action. So everybody is in Kurukshetra. So this is relevant to but everybody in the Kurukshetra where there is a battle between the evil and good forces within ourselves or within the society or in the countries. Everywhere there is always a war between the good and evil forces. So that is why it is Kurukshetra. And this Kurukshetra is Karma Kshetra. That means where we are going to do the action. The thing is, everybody is bound to act. Is there anybody who doesn't act? So there is, yes, as long as you are breathing, says Lord Krishna says nobody can live without activity. Somebody says, no, I'm just sitting quietly. Or you are breathing, that is an activity. Your heart is beating, that is an activity. Circulation is going. So nobody can be without activity. But when you do good activities, good. That is why Lord Krishna beautifully says, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam vartayevacha karmani. In these three words, I don't have any duty to do, but still I do the work so that people follow my example. Like Lord Swami is another example. All the times, 24/7, 360, he was working, whether he is in Prashant Nilayam or he goes to Brindavan, whether he go to Kodaikanal or some other places in Dharma Kshetra, Shivam, or even going to like East Africa continent, 1968, always busy talking to the devotees, blessing them, giving discourses. So always busy because it is we are nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krit. That is what Lord Krishna said. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi. Even kshanam means even for a moment. Jatu tishtatya karma krit. Anybody living being cannot be without a karma. But that karma, do a good karma, that's all, Lord, and do it without any attachment. And second thing here is talking about is you should not crave for the fruit of action. This is also Swami is unique in that. He says, you will have earned the fruit of any time, any action, equal and opposite reaction. As you sow, you reap. There is bound to happen. So what you eat, you will belch. So there is no question. Law of karma means whatever you do, it will happen. But if you don't want to be bound by that action, the secret, the whole secret is, if you do good, you will get good effects. That is good. If you do bad, you will get bad. But if you want to go beyond the two, you should give up the fruits of action. So that is why the famous sloka, karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That means you have duty, you have to do your duty, but not to the fruits. That is what most of the translators translate. Great saints mention so many people. But Swami says that is wrong. When you are having any action, automatically the fruits will come. So you have the entitlement, but willingly you surrender those fruits to God. That's why he says, karmanyeva. He didn't say na phaleshu. People say na phaleshu. Translation, he says ma phaleshu. That means you don't expect, you will get the fruits, but willingly, Lord, I dedicate to do. That is the inner meaning. That is why Lord Avatar comes, he gives the inner meaning of the scriptures. That is very important. That is why he says one of the functions of the Avatar is Kala Sandigdha Vigraha Suktulayunta Bhashyartha Gopyamul Telupukuruku. I have come to show you the inner secrets of the scriptures. Because when you read scripture, there are three kinds of meaning. One is literal meaning, just you read the meaning. Most of the people translate. Then there is a inner meaning. There is, you go in depth, people analyze this, great commentator. But then there's paramarthika meaning, divine meaning. That is where the avatars give us the insight, the divine meaning. Like Shidi Baba, when he talked about Tadvidhi Pranipatiyana, he gave inner meaning. Like that, Swami has come to give the inner meaning. And he says, it is equivalent to doing all the Vedas, Yajnas, everything by doing this Swadhyaya Yajna of Gita. So that is the importance. We are all supposed to do the activity. Second thing is, we should knowingly, willfully give the fruits of our actions dedicated to the Lord. We don't want to be bound by the consequences of our action. Otherwise, even the good you do good, then you will be born again in some place or go to heaven. You don't want that. So you want to get out of the cycle of birth and death. So we need to willfully, with joyously dedicate all the fruits to the Lord. That is the very important message in this. Okay, you can continue.
Whoever the individual, however scholarly, he cannot escape delusion, and so he is subjected to grief, which acts as a brake upon activity. Arjuna, the great hero, capable of great renunciation and of great wisdom, is deluded by the awful needs of war, and his grief handicaps his activity too. He confuses the body and the self. He starts identifying the two. He imposes on the Atma, ever untouched by the characteristics of the moving, changing world, the unreal and ephemeral nature of the world, and takes this delusion as true. He believes that his duties, as laid down by that false identification, are his Atma Dharma. This is the tragedy not of Arjuna alone, but of all humanity. Therefore, the Gita is of universal and eternal value. To study the Gita is to learn the art of swimming across the sea of delusion. The Gita is the very voice of Lord Krishna. The fact that it has provided consolation and liberation to millions of men is evidence of its divine origin. A lesser person could not have given it that authenticity. Again, Swami is, this whole chapter is summarizing the Gita very beautifully. First, he's talked about.
Yeah, it shows how the importance he is telling. So, Lord Krishna of all the avatars is called Paripurna Avatar, because even Lord Rama was 15 kalas, but Lord Krishna is all the 16 kalas, Paripurna Avatar. And Swami is also Paripurna Avatar. So he is talking about how important is the message of Lord Krishna is for eternity. Because that is why Swami gave so much importance to Gita. Not only he wrote this Gita Vahini, for people who are interested, Swami gave many discourses on Gita over years, in 1972, in 79, but also in 1984, starting August, we were there for some of the discourses. 34 discourses Swami gave. 34 discourses on Gita. So Swami has given those discourses, continued from August to September. So these are the beautiful things which people, you can supplemental. So to this Gita Vahini, if you want, you can supplemental studies, and then it will give even deeper insights into the scripture. That is very important, Swami gave. And second thing is, Swami said, is whole thing is about delusion. As we said, he was confused, he was attached. Oh, why he's such a great hero? He didn't want to fight because I and mind. The whole thing, moha, is nothing but I and mind. That is why there is a warp and woof of Maya, they call, is this I and mind. So everything, great people are detached. That is why when you say moksha, you say everybody wants moksha, liberation. Liberation Swami made it very simple. Moha, shaya. When your delusion, moha is gone, then you are automatically have moksha. It doesn't need to wait. So moha, chaya, that is why you need to, these are all the very formulas you should remember. Moksha, somebody say, what is moksha? Your moha is gone, then you are, that minute you have moksha. So the whole purpose is to get rid of this moha. That is why at the end of the Gita, Lord Krishna, after saying the whole thing, he asks Arjuna, is there anything? Then beautifully, Arjuna says, Nashto moho smritir labdha. My moha is gone. That means moksha. Smritir labdha. Now I know who I am by your grace. All my doubts are gone. So that is the one we need to get rid of our moha. Then only you will get. And Swami, that is why he gave so much importance to this Gita, not only through discourses, to writings. And this delusion, we think, it is okay, we are reading and we are doing service, we are doing bhajan. Not that easy. Great sage like Vishwamitra, who gave the whole universe this Gayatri mantra, he was deluded. He was tempted and he lost track of his goal and sense pleasures he was tempted. And even the Durvasa, such a great sage, is considered an incarnation of Lord Shiva. He goes into temper tantrums. He used to known for his Durvasa anger. And even Mother Yashoda, who was such a great soul, so when she saw Lord Krishna's open mouth, she saw all the lokas, but then again she forgot all about it, thought it's a child. Because the power of Maya is so good, we need to be always alert. That's why one time I asked Swami, I said, what do you want? Swami, I don't want to be caught up by your Maya. Please help me. And Swami didn't say, yes, I'll make sure you don't have it. He says, do you think you are greater than Vashishta, Vishwamitra, and Jamadagni? Because these are all great Brahmarshis. They are great rishis. And those are deluded, Vashishta, Vishwamitra, Jamadagni. So ordinary. That means we need to be always alert. That's why this thing, he says, even jnanis, you may be a great scholar. Ravana, he was a great scholar. 10 heads are representing 4 Vedas he knows and 6 Shastras. So scholarship is not the thing, whether you are really living the values. So then only you can conquer that. That's very, very important. Is the whole thing is to get rid of our delusion, and that is done only when we live in the Atmic consciousness. As he said, it is like swimming across the sea of delusion when we listen to the Gita teaching and practice them in our life.
Is it not that you have to, the grace of the Lord has to be there, otherwise whatever.
Yeah, your effort, but both goes, effort and grace. That is why Swami said, Yatna prayatnamu manava dharmam. So you can't say just keep quiet and do nothing and say, oh, Swami will take care. No, it's very important. So effort, not just effort, yatna prayatnam, sincere effort. Sri Ramakrishna gave a good example. Oh, I want nice air. Just you keep quiet, I want air. There is air, but you take a little fan and do that, then the air comes. That little effort is your thing. So that same thing, Swami says, sunlight is there, whole light come, and you blocked your window. So just open the window, the light will come. So that little effort, human effort, and then always divine grace is there. Only thing is we need to put that little effort. That's why Swami said, you take 1 step towards me, I will take 100 steps. He didn't say, I will come all the way 100 steps. He didn't have 101 step. Take 1 step towards me. So you have to do that first 1 step. Then he will come. So our human effort is very, very important. So that is why they call positive and negative. So just is human effort and divine grace. The combination, then you will get the experience of the truth. Okay, so you want to continue?
The way it begins and the way it ends, that gives the clue to the subject which it expounds. The very first verse starts with the words Dharma Kshetre, abode of Dharma, Kurukshetre. The word Dharma being the leading word. The last verse of the final 18th chapter speaks of Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. And this word, Yogeshwara, sums up the Dharma that is taught. Thus, it is clear that the objective of the teaching in the Gita is just this. Remember Dharma, practice Dharma. How significant is this word? All Shastras are engaged in demarcating and defining the nature and subtle characteristics of Dharma. The Gita incorporates this study and this analysis. It is a textbook of Dharma in all its aspects. It discusses all the principles underlying Dharma.
Yeah, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. That is what he says. Kurukshetra, we already said. Kurukshetra is a place next to Delhi. You're just there where they had a big battle between the Kauravas and Pandavas. Still it is there. But real Kurukshetra, as I said, inner meaning is Kuru is action. Field of action should be Dharma Kshetra. That means whatever we do should be in the basis of Dharma. That is very important. So otherwise, what is Dharma? You make very complicated. Dharma is, Swami made it very clear, love in action. So whatever activity we do, it is imbued with love, then that becomes a dharma. That's why very famous again, Swami's quotation, duty without love is deplorable. We all do the duty, but if it is without love, duty with love is desirable. So yes, that is good. So instead of mechanically doing, go to the being a teacher and not caring for the student, be loving. That is good. But the ultimate is love without duty is divine. So like example of great saints, avatars, they just love for love's sake. They don't have any ulterior agenda. Like even the bhaktas, like Gopikas, example of this, Prahlada, they just love for love's sake. That is the ultimate. So from duty without love, we should go to love without duty. That is the important progression we should have. And finally, Swami is telling the beginning first sentence, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Mahamaikas. That is the first sloka of the Bhagavad Gita. Then as Swami is telling about in the 18th chapter, Yatra Yogishwaro Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanuddaraha, Tatra Sri Vijayor Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. That means this thing is, wherever there is, this is Sanjaya is telling, after hearing, wherever Lord Krishna is there, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho, the Arjuna are there is success is bound to succeed, because Dhritarashtra was wondering, my God, my children will win the war, or they will, because they have more army and all that. But this guy says clearly, wherever Lord Krishna is there, and Arjuna who follows the Lord's command, bound success. It doesn't matter who is there on the other side, like Bhishma is a great hero, Drona, great Karna, all those people are great warriors. But he says, because wherever Lord Krishna, God is there, that's why most important in our life, we should keep God the highest priority. Because if we have God, everything else is taken up. Without God, everything is zero. With God, you will become a hero. So just to be a hero, just have a God. Otherwise, without God, you are a zero. So that is why important to keep God the most important and give the highest priority. And here, dharma also is very simply done. People say love in action, duty. Like you go to office, you do your duty, that is dharma. So you are a man, you have to go and earn livelihood. A woman take care of the family. And then you are a teacher, you have to teach. Like that, each one has a dharma that is called, first is the gender, Laingika dharma, depending upon your gender, man or a woman. Then ashrama dharma, depending upon what stage. You are a bachelor, brahmachari, that time you have to study intensely, like we all are students. Then brahmachari, next gruhasthashram, next stage is householder's life, where people who want to, there are people who don't get married and they're happy people, they become monks, and probably that is good. But who want to have family life, they get married and they have children and they take care and live a dharmika, earned righteously, and use it for the society. That is gruhastha, next stage. You do the dharma. Then comes vanaprasthashram. It means all your life you can be caught up in this duties, family, bondage, work. A stage has come, recluse, stage of recluse. Then don't get bound too much in your family obligations, no more work, people retire by that time, and more take life towards contemplative life. You think about God, more work for God, dedicate your life to God. And finally comes sannyas ashram, at the end after you finish. That means where complete focus is only and God alone. But there are people who skip all these things. They become sannyasis, and 15, like Adi Shankara became a sannyasi, and Swami Vivekananda. They don't have to, like some people can go to from primary school to PhD directly. They're so smart. But other people have to go through this high school, college, and all that. So similarly, go through this Grihastha and Vanaprasthada. But there are people who are mature, like great souls, they right away become sannyasis, like Ramana Maharshi. Great. There are so many people who take embrace sannyasa ashram. So that is the depending upon the ashrama dharma. Then there is a thing called varna dharma, depending upon your aptitude. So that is why they classified Lord Krishna 4 kinds of dharmas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So people confuse in India. That is why everybody criticizes Indians, Bharatiya. These people have caste system. So Brahmins are here, which is unfortunate. Those times they exploited Brahmins who were there. They think that they, because they were so wise and thinkers, they may try to keep everything exclusive to them. And then Kshatriyas, who are the warriors, and then Vaishyas, who are businessmen, and then Shudras, who are the unskilled laborer. This is not by birth. That is what Lord Krishna clearly says. Chatur varnam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagyo. I created these 4 kinds of people depending on their guna and karma, depending on their aptitude and their actions. So you are in the same family, like one brother, you may be very wise man, thinker, always thinking. He's like a Brahmin, so he's always thinking. And one guy, he never went to school, never gone to college. He wants to be just do a gardener, or just work in a gas station. He's a Shudra in the same family. And another guy likes the entrepreneur, want to do business, how to make more money, how to make part. He's a Vaishya, even though he is born in that family. And there is some people, Kshatriya, who want to be work. But these are all the dharmas depending on your gender, depending on your stage of life, depending upon your aptitude. But the highest dharma is not that. What is the highest dharma?
Swadharma.
Is Atma, Swadharma. Swa means Atma. Atma dharma is the highest, because all these other things refer to our body, mind. Whatever duties we are talking about, this is referable to for the body and mind, depending on what man, woman, what stage in life, what. But the Atma Dharma is universal, it's for all people. So that is the highest duty for us. In the beginning, you do this regular duty, then finally you remember the highest duty is Atma Dharma. Once you know that you are the Atman, there is nothing higher than that. That is the highest Dharma you have. So this is about the discussion about Dharma. Continue.
Arjuna is the jivi, the individual. The body is the chariot, and the teacher in the chariot is Krishna, the Lord. The charioteer is the Lord, the inspirer of the intelligence, the Brahman, which prompts it in answer to man's prayer, contained in the Gayatri mantra, Diyo yo na prachodayat. Awaken my discrimination, O Lord, and guide me. The Kauravas represent the demonic nature. The Pandavas represent the divine. They are Asat. These are Sat. One is evil, the other is good. And there has ever been a struggle between the two. In this conflict between opposing forces, Krishna, the Self, the Atma, is ever on the side of Dharma, the reality which sustains, not the delusion which undermines. If you seek to have the Lord on your side as your guide, equip yourself with the divine nature, Daivi Sampat, the qualities of Dharma. For the Lord is where Dharma is.
Yeah, that is also important. First, I said Dharma is so important. Swami said, what is Rama called? Ramu Vigrahavan Dharma. Rama is the embodiment of Dharma itself. So when the avatar comes, they show by example how to lead a dharmic life. Here he is talking about another thing, Swami, he is talking about that take Lord as your charioteer. So our body is the chariot. So the Lord is the charioteer. Actually, in Kathopanishad, there is a beautiful example. It is taken actually the same example in Gita also, because as I said, Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. How the body is the chariot, and the Lord is the charioteer, and the buddhi, intellect, is the one guiding force, and the reins, the ones which reins for the horses, the sense control, and the path, horses, like that. Each beautiful example of a chariot towards this body and travel. That is why with our magazine, Swami first started is called Sanathana Sarathi, the Eternal Charioteer. That means he has been the charioteer forever. But if you really want God to be on your side, Swami said, you should be on the side of Dharma. He doesn't take the side of evil side. So you should go. He talks about Daiva Asura Sampat. That means each one of us have got two qualities. Daiva, divine qualities. Asura is demonic qualities. Always there is fight. If you want to know more details, we will talk about down the line. 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Daiva Sura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. It is the division where he says how a man with the divine qualities behave, how your demonic qualities behave. So people think, oh, demonic means, oh, he's so dark, he has got little thing, his nose is big, he does that. No, he may be very like Ravana is considered very handsome man, very scholarly man. So, as I said, he knows 4 Vedas and 6 Shastras, and he was good in arts, great musician. So he has got everything. He has got science of controlling the even stars and everything. So he has got everything. He knows the scriptures and he knows the arts, and he has all the knowledge, but he doesn't have that dharma. So that is the whole problem. If you don't have it, all that is, you're still demonic. What is demonic? You read that, but just 3 things I'll say. Dambo, abhimanascha, krodha, parushyamevasa, ajnanancha. These are the things any of us have is, and some of the people we see around. Dambha, that means they're very ostentatious, arrogant, show up. Darpa means very proud. Oh, I'm a great man, there's nobody equal. So first is ostentatious, show off with the big banners. There is somebody says, in Swami used to say, in Bengal, people have Banerjee, Chatterjee. So they says, Banerjee, they have big banners saying, hey, I'm great, Banerjee. And Chatterjee, they go on chattering, hey, what do you think? I'm great, Chatterjee. So like here, so this is, but you should be a Mukherjee. Mukherjee means quiet. Mukham. So like that, you should try not to be ostentatious. So first is Dambho, then Darpa, pride. Krodham, that means anger. So just if you are easily angry, that is also a demonic quality. Krodha Parushyam, that means very rough in your dealings, whether talking, walk. Some people even, they are walking, Swami doesn't like dum, that you can hear even they're walking other side. They close the door, they bang it, you can hear that, and they drop the book. I said, my nurse used to be there. So even putting a chat, then just everything like gentle. That's why Holy Mother Sharda Devi said one time, somebody did the sweeping with a broomstick, and after that she threw it on. Don't do that. It served your purposes. Be respectful to the broomstick. So everything, Swami also is very particular. Everything you need to show respect. One time, so we were there before the Kulwant Hall was built, they were building the wall, and somebody was putting water on the cement. They need to harden. Swami all the way screamed, don't put with so much force, because he sees everything has consciousness, even so-called we think it is inanimate, that cement. But everything, whatever you do, that gentleness should be there. That's why Parushyam, Dambo, Darpo, Krodha, Parushyam evasya, Ajnananja. Then they're ignorant. So do that. Whereas the Daivic quality people, they are different. Sattvic tendencies, Shama, they have forgiveness, forbearance, love, and generosity, all these noble qualities. So if you have them, like you can think about Rama and Ravana. Rama, actually, Swami says probably less scholarly, his avatar, but just in the worldly sense, in the human form. But he is the embodiment of Dharma. Ramo Vigrahavan, he just always forgiving even the enemies. He says, even Ravana said, if you regret and you come back, I will take you back, I'll give you back the kingdom. So you see that there is greatness of the forgiveness and forbearance. Those are the noble qualities, and showing love and compassion to all beings. So this will continue next week. So let's all develop the Daivi Sampat and get rid of the Asura Sampat. And then we'll be close with the Lord, Eternal Charioteer. Sai Ram.